humbled to be able to read.
Don't I?
This is called I'm Sorry. I'm sorry I never had the time. It must have seemed as though I never cared, seeing death reflected in scared eyes. I washed your cold, stiff skin, witnessed you and a myriad of men breathe in final breaths. I tried to nurse all your goodbyes, to say a prayer, to hold your hand as you slipped away in rattled sighs. I wanted to sit with you, but I had my nurse's hat on. I'm sorry I never whistle-blowed when I saw such abuse that left me stone cold. I should have spoke out, I should have told, but I was scared shitless too of the crippling claws. Consequences for a nurse would have been a lonely clinical road, mapped out rigid in the nursing code. I'm sorry I didn't call you Jesus, Mary or Magdalene, though you told me to believe in miracles. You insisted over and over, again and again, but I was perhaps afraid to hear. But you see, I had my nurse's hat on. I'm sorry I never challenged them when they called you bonkers, borderline, mad, fake or bad.
Incredible.
I wanted to convince them you were distressed, in pain, but not at all this label insane. But still, with true, so true regret, I injected you with needles of restraint, cocktail syringes, detonate needles, sharp and round, jabbing, stabbing, liquid thick. I watched you fall hard as a brick on the fag-burned floor. No one cared what they saw. Asylum rules were to ignore this fucking mess. The utter violence forced on those in distress. But you see, I had my nurse's hat on. I'm sorry my psychosis was a burden to yours while you lay resting in your bed. Night shifts moaned and groaned, boundaries blurred, the living and the dead filled my nursing darkness led. Knocks on the windows on the 5th floor, strange whispers seeping through locked doors. Old ladies rocking in chairs that were definitely not there. Treatment room beds lay stenching spread body parts, shivering the very essence of my maddening heart. Hands across my skin, crisp, curious, touching. This was my secret, silent, institutional suffering too. But you see, I hid behind my nurse's hat. I'm sorry I let the system beat me down, take away my radical crown. My reason for being there blurred. I became a nurse because I knew your distress. I felt your fear as this was also mine. It was always the finest of tiptoeing lines. Perhaps I was in denial, refusal, confusion, but my intentions were pure and true. But they were constantly assessing, watching me too. What else could I have done to stand up to this system? I was young, stupid and naive. I fell for their smiles that had screams billowing through corridors of bruised souls high on the asylum hill. But most of all, I am sorry I never prevented you from hanging. The tempestuous tragedy of nothing to live for. Slowly to swing, to suffer and die. But you see, with absolute shame, I had my nurse's hat on in this twisted, toxic hand of psychiatry. I'll never touch this poisonous position again. Thank you.